Hey guys, welcome back to for StarCraft 2 Strategy, your number one location for step-by-step strategy and tutorial videos. Today we're going to be taking a look at a 2-gate into 4 Warpgate Blink Stalker build as Protoss. Basically what you're going to be seeing here is we're going to be starting off with the 2-gate, and then upon scouting our Zerg opponent going for roaches, we're going to switch to Blink Stalkers via 4 Warpgate to counter the roaches. Now this build is going to be a very strong counter to the response of your Zerg opponent going for roaches to try to counter your 2-gate push. And this is basically something that's known as forcing. I believe that term was coined by Day9. Day9 is an excellent commentator. You can view here on YouTube, or I believe he has a Blip TV channel as well. Really good at the step-by-step. He's also very analytical, which I really like, and that's actually part of the reason why I kind of made these strategy videos, because I like the analytical aspect, I like the breakdowns, and just, you know, that's how people are going to learn. The commentating of the videos is very exciting. It's like watching a football match, not a football match per se, but it's kind of like watching a sporting event, and that's kind of why we're trying to push esports into the gaming community, because it's exciting for gamers. But as far as knowledge and learning new things, I think that really comes from an analytical view of the game and a kind of a breakdown of the different aspects of the game and what to do when kind of deal. But anyways, enough of that. Getting into this build, we're starting off as Protoss with a very strong build for Zerg known as the 2-gate push. I've done this before in a prior video. Now in the video that I produced, the 2-gate push was able to wipe out my opponent, and this is kind of going to show you what to do when your Zerg opponent counters the 2-gate properly, when they get the proper response to the 2-gate, but in doing so, you are going to be able to counter that response. So that is what forcing is. It's getting your opponent to be in a position that's not very beneficial to them, and they have to respond in a certain way, and then you are countering that response. So to be more specific in what I'm saying, going for the 2-gate push, pumping out with these early zealots, is going to force your opponent to have to get some roaches. If they get just zerglings, your zealots are going to overrun them. So they're forced to get roaches. Now in getting roaches, if you then counter with blink stalkers, that should be sufficient force to take them out. So that's basically the theory, that's the concept and the idea. We're going to go ahead and look at the breakdown real quick. We're going to take a step away from the action and the explanation, and go look at the kind of the play-by-play. Pretty standard as far as openings are concerned for Protoss, and that is getting a pylon at 9 and a gateway at 12. Since we're going for the 2-gate, we're going to drop a second gateway at 15. After that, we're going to be getting another pylon. As you can see, we're getting in a simulator right now at around 2930. So yeah, I mean, pretty basic stuff. Again, we're just going with that 2-gate push. Now, as you can see, the Protoss player was able to scout out that Roach Warren with a probe scout. That just goes to show you exactly why scouting is so important. So we're still going to go through with this 2-gate push. We're going to do as much damage as we can, try to take out some of his units, maybe try to get some of his drones or some of his buildings taken care of. But in seeing that Roach Warren, which is pretty much what the Zerg player was forced to do because of this early zealot pressure, we dropped the cybernetics core, and after that we're going to be getting some more gateways. We're going to be researching Warpgate and then Blink Stalker, and we're going to be moving out from there. So yeah, I mean, it's going ahead and pushing forward with a 2-gate build, and then after scouting information and after you see what your opponent's response is going to be, you then counter that. I mean, that's really, honestly, that's kind of what high-end level of play really is. It's about getting the right counter at the right time, trying to force your opponent to do something that's going to be beneficial to you. And as you can see, this is exactly why we have to switch out of this 2-gate push, because these roaches with their range are going to be way too much for our zealots to handle. So going back to the base here, we do have the cybernetics core down, so we are finally able to produce some stalkers. We're going to get this scouting overlord out of the way. I'm not sure if yeah, we are actually able to kill this scouting overlord. And we're going to get an expansion to try to boost up our econ as well. Now, we're going to start researching warp research very shortly, right now. There we go. So warp research is coming up. And then once the warp research is just about done, we kind of want to time our buildings so that they come out right when the warp is done being researched. So just nothing too fancy is going to be happening now. Just pretty basic stuff. We're trying to boost up our econ with this expansion here. In case this Blink Stalker thing doesn't work, then that's when we'd move on into our next response. So say for example, we come out with Blink Stalkers, and our opponent has Speedling Hydra. That's going to take care of Blink Stalkers pretty well. Hydras do so much damage, and Speedlings can surround Stalkers very easily. So were that to be the case, if that were to happen, then we would probably look to switch to getting some Colossi, going into some Robotech, basically. And getting Colossi, you really kind of need an expansion to get them in any good numbers, just because they're so resource intensive. You really need those extra Vespian guys just working. So this is kind of just preparing for the next step. But let's concentrate on what we have so far. We went with the 2-gate push. I already broke down the step-by-step, the 9 pylon, 12 gateway, 15 gateway. 2-gate push didn't work because we had those roaches. So now we're going to be looking, okay, at the 4 warp gate. As you can see, timing these next 2 gateways perfectly for when the warp gate research is finished. And what is that timing exactly? Well, basically what you want to do is you want to start making your next 2 gateways when the warp research is about 3/4 of the way done. So you look at the little research bar when it's about 3/4 of the way done. You want to start building your next 2 gateways so that you have 4 gateways total, and then just start moving out from that point. As you can see, this is kind of our new front wall because of this block off here. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of these destructible rocks rather than destroying our own warp gates, because that's not a good idea. Getting rid of these destructible rocks so we can move down with these stalkers. We did build a Twilight Council as well, and we are researching Blink. And then once Blink is up, that's when we're really going to push out. That's, in this example, that is this timing push. We're going to be pushing out at the time that our Blink is done researching. So just go ahead, destructible rocks going down. We're moving out a probe as well. Very good idea, because you want to be able to create some more proxy pylons along the way. And with those extra zealots that we had from our 2-gate push, going to be hammering away at these destructible rocks. Also, you may just want to test the waters. Maybe bring in a zealot to see if he does have this expansion. And if he does, you kind of know that they kind of dumped resources into that. So you're going to be pretty safe to attack. They shouldn't have all that much. Proxy pylon being dropped as well. Going to be moving forward with the stalkers very shortly. Once the pylon comes up, we're going to be warping in some more reinforcement stalkers. Really good. It's just always a really good idea when going with the Warpgate build to build a proxy right next to your opponent's base. It's going to allow you to bring in reinforcements very, very quickly. One of the real benefits of Protoss Warpgate research is that right there, being able to reinforce quickly with some extra units. So as you can see, moving forward with these stalkers, again, he has all these roaches because he kind of had to get all those roaches to counter our early zealot push. And this Hydralisk Den is just going to be a little bit too late, because by the time it's done, he doesn't have the Vespian necessary to pump out what he needs to defend against the Stalker push. And as you can see, it just looks to be too much for him to handle. Blink Stalkers microing properly away from any damage that they could be receiving. Now you can see how dangerous it would have been if we had waited too long and the Hydralisk had gotten some sort of mass numbers, but it didn't get to that point, and the Stalkers were just able to overwhelm. Third player goes ahead and leaves the game, and that's that. So again, just a real quick overview as far as what we're looking at. Starting off with a 2-gate push. 2-gate push was warded off by this Roach Warren. We then switched to a Cybernetic Core, started getting some Stalkers. Go ahead and move to our expansion, try to get our mineral production up really, really high. And once our Warpgate research is 1/3 of the way done, 3/4 of the way done, go ahead and drop your 2 extra gateways, so you'll have 4 gateways total. And then these should be done at the exact same time, pretty much, that your Warpgate research is finished. When you have your Twilight Council up, research Blink, and push out with those Blink Stalkers, and that's a good way to force your opponent into a position that you're going to be able to kill them with. So again, this has been for StarCraft 2 Strategy, your #1 location for step-by-step strategy and tutorial videos. Please stay tuned for future videos. Keep watching and keep owning, guys.